Welcome back, folks, to the Bad Ideas Garage, and today we're going to look at one of the major issues with this $1,400 Mercedes R-Class, which is an oil leak around the oil filter housing. Now, Mercedes says you have to buy a whole new housing if you want to fix this problem, but I, on the other hand, decided, well, why don't we try resealing it first? And I bought the $20, $30 parts kit off of Amazon, and we're going to try bolting it in there and hopefully stop it from gushing oil out of this filter housing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have to do, unfortunately, is take that shiny new serpentine belt I just put on and take it back off. Looking at how the oil on here, I'm guessing this oil leak is actually what caused the serpentine belt to break. The oil got on it, it fouled, the rubber got a little sticky and a little bit soft, and then eventually the belt snapped. So we really do want to fix this problem because it's going to be a major drivability issue and it's just pouring oil all over everything on the front of the engine here. So let's crack on. Alright, first we start off by taking off some of the intercooler piping, and then we can get down to the tensioner, remove the belt, and begin some additional disassembly. Alright, and one intake muffler, well, intercooler muffler, has been removed. Alright, and one serpentine belt back off the engine. This doesn't look too bad to remove. We've got a couple of E10 bolts there that are holding it on. As you see, everything's just totally coated in oil, as well as another one there on top of the oil filter housing, and another one over here on top of the reservoir. So this shouldn't be too bad to get out of there, hopefully. Success! All right. One really greasy, really awful oil filter housing is now off the car. Let's take a closer look at it. Okay, we're gonna start with giving this thing a scrub down because it is, as you can see, absolutely, totally filthy and covered in oil. And I want this to be a little bit cleaner so I can actually see if it starts to leak again. Because right now it's a little hard to tell. Let's crack on. Okay, so now that we've got this thing clean, there's two seals on it. So there's the one that's actually on the block. It's on the back here. This is the easy one. You can see it, matches up. Here's the seal that goes on there. I'll just slop right in. That's really quite simple. However, this isn't the one I think was really leaking badly. There's another seal that's compressed in between these two halves, and what was happening when I started the engine is oil was pouring from right here in this gap. So we need to take this apart and get to this seal, which should be compressed inside there. To do that, we're going to need some T40s here. There are 3 of them. We should be able to knock these loose and then get inside and get at the seal, which may be easier said than done. I may need to go to an impact. These are quite in there. Oh, this one isn't bad. Two down. Got it. This should be the last one. Should, with all those bolts out, be able to split this thing. Should being the operative word. May have to give it a little light tap. There we go. That made it come apart. Okay. Now we can see the inner sealing face. And we can see there's a seal right there, and I can feel it with my fingertips. It is rock hard. This seal was not doing much of anything. And it may take us a little bit to get it dug out of there because it is pretty darn perished. Yeah, you can see this seal is totally gone. I have to chip it out of there. It is so rock hard and so sealed in there. It is really, really terrible. I'm just taking this seal out just in pieces. It's just absolutely rock hard. Ugh. Now we're making some progress. Come on out of there. Well, it's like half of it. Alrighty, it's finally out of there. I can definitely see why Mercedes typically just has you replace the whole thing. That would have been easier. And unfortunately, I still have one more petrified gasket to get out. But the one that was failed, which was this one, is now removed. Okay, so now both of the seals are out, and you can really see why this thing was leaking like crazy. These are the old seals, and they're just super hard and rock and brittle. I can just crack them in my fingertips, and they're just not doing any good. Here are the shiny new ones. They're much more flexible, and so we're going to put those in, put this all back together, and we'll put it back on the car, and hopefully the car, at least in this part, will be leak-free. There are other leaks in this rig, but this will hopefully no longer be one of them. Alrighty, it's all back together. Let's put it back on the car. So I found another thing. I was about to go put the oil filter back on, and I noticed this. That is the power steering pump, and the pulley moves in and out about ½ an inch. Turns out that's probably actually what killed the belt. It also explains why on the first day, when there was absolutely no fluid left in the pump, yeah, that is completely shot. I have to go get another power steering pump. It's a real issue. Okay, so it's been a few days, and I finally got myself a new power steering pump for this Mercedes R320. Here it is, right here on the table. I didn't go with new because, well, new, they were several $100s, and I'm not sure this car is worth that much, and frankly, the old pump lasted 220,000 miles, so a good used unit from the salvage yard for a mere $69 with only 80,000 miles on it probably will outlast the car. So good news, I can finally put that in and actually get our oil cleaner filter assembly back on the car, and hopefully be able to actually drive this thing for the first time today. Wish me some luck. Alright, here's the old pump. Just a reminder what it looked like. Yeah, pumps shouldn't do that. It doesn't look like it's going to be too bad to remove. It's going to have two of these bolts here on the front. There's a banjo bolt over here on the high pressure side. There's the feed line. Take both those off, and then there's one more bolt hiding around back. That could be the hardest bit, but this should be fairly straightforward to get out of here with some luck. Okay, I'm going to start by trying to get this hose clamp off, which is not too bad usually. There's still fluid in the reservoir. Luckily I put a pan down there, so when I start taking these hoses off, it has somewhere to go besides my floor, mostly. Either way, I want to empty out the reservoir because I want to put fresh fluid in this thing. Whatever's in there isn't going to be good. There we go. Got it loose. That was a very tight banjo bolt. And for you trying to do this job yourself, it is 22 millimeters. It is a big boy. Yuck. And I just dropped it. This is a bolt that holds on the high pressure side. You can see it's got holes in it. This is what's known as a banjo bolt. Basically allows that fluid to come out through the center line here and then feed into the hose all the way around 360 degrees. All right. Now we can do the mounting bolts, which should be hopefully a little bit easier. E12 socket, I believe. Two down. And unfortunately, the one that remains in the back where I can't see it. I don't think. Yeah, okay. It's back there somewhere. I'm just going to have to do this one by feel, I think. Feel it. This is going to be real fun. God, this thing is grimy. This is what happens, folks, when your power steering pump is bouncing back and forth and dumping fluid probably for the last 10,000 miles. Everything is coated. Wow. Got it. Finally, it's loose. Oh, thank God. I have a feeling this bolt was really fun to get out. It's going to be even more fun to get back in. That is a problem for future me. Unfortunately, future me is coming right up. Rear bolt out. Awful. Absolutely awful. Greasy, messy. Can't see it. Very hard to reach. Pretty darn tight. Yeah, this last bolt in the back sucks. It's out. God, this thing is bad. Listen to that. Things that your pump should not do. That. Awful, awful, awful. In case you're wondering what 10,000 miles of a pump that's moving back and forth a quarter inch does, mostly it makes an incredible mess. It is. There's a lot of schmoo down here. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Not perfect, but a heck of a lot better. Let's put the new one in. One often overlooked part, the humble copper crush washer. Make sure you put new ones on. They're not particularly expensive and it will help prevent leaks. You can buy a whole box of them for, I think this whole box cost me $10, $15. And yeah, don't reuse your old ones. They don't seal very well. Let's put the much nicer one in the car. First two bits of this are going to be easy. Front two bolts, not too bad. Next two, next one, not so happy about that. Alright, first two in finger tight, no big deal. The back bolt though, I'm less looking forward to. Let's see if I can get it back there. The good news is it's far less greasy back there now. Might be able to actually put it in my hand. We're lucky. Think I got it. All right, I finally get that back bolt back in the frame. Ah, yay. That's better. Okay, all the bolts are successfully back in the pump. Thank God. That back one's a nightmare. Alrighty, just gotta slip the hoses back on, tighten up the banjo bolts, and then we put the oil filter housing back on, fill this thing up with fluids, and let's see if she actually drives. I have a feeling though, we're gonna find a lot more wrong with this rig. Just got a little bit of a hint that not all is quite well yet. But we'll get there. All right, shinier new pump is in. This one, as you can see, does not wobble back and forth. And onto the oil filter housing. All right, let's put this guy back on the car. This isn't too bad, just 4 bolts. Just gotta kind of offer it up in position there. Get the top one started. Alrighty, the pump and the oil filter are now bolted back in position. Gonna add a little bit more fluid just to top this guy up. We'll put the belt back on, reassemble all the intercooler hoses, and let's get this car a start up. Let's see where we're at. Oh, all right. It'll need a little bit once it all primes up, but this will get us going anyway. Putting the belt back on. Hopefully this one has a longer life than the previous one did. Alrighty, belt's back on. Get the intercooler back on next. Also very greasy. Yeah, I'm gonna clean this up. All right, here comes the first start with the new oil seals and the new power steering pump. Wish me luck. Looks good! No oil pouring from anywhere. Time to take it for a drive. Okay, so far on the warning lights we have low beam out, brake wear, and looks like a tail light. Parking lamp, front right, okay. Surprisingly though, no other warning lights are currently on here, which is good. No check engine light has yet come on, which is good. It's no longer pouring fluids out from underneath of it, which is good. It sounds like there's an exhaust leak, and it definitely feels like it needs motor mounts. Those two things I can say with some certainty. Yeah, let's take it for a drive, see how it feels. Okay. It feels all right. It's not fast, but it's not any slower than one of these should be, so it's not limpo mode, which is good. Turbo is spooled up just fine. Definitely have an exhaust leak. But it runs real smooth, tracks straight. Turn signals are broken, at least the bulbs are. That's fun. There we go, decelerate, let's kind of hit it. Yeah, it's not fast. It's about the same as my parents' ML320. There's a little faster, I think. Also has the OM642 diesel. This one's got more weight, though. Yeah. Overall, not bad. I'm pretty pleased for $1,400, and at this point, I'm into it for maybe another $150 in parts. Seems to run all right. Thanks for watching, folks. Catch you on the next episode of Bad Ideas Garage.